Hello everybody, I'm Cyril Jeet Gupta and today I want to talk to you about Google HummingBird. This was a very important update to Google's search engine algorithm which was put in place just a little while ago by Google. I'm sure you've heard of it and how it introduces a new renewed focus on contextual and semantic content, how it tries to analyze your content and extract the meaning from it, extract the context from it, and build up the search around it. Now, this update was so important that according to Google's spokespeople, it changed 80% of the search. Now, you might have been told by some people that the impact of HummingBird is not so much on you, it's a soft update, but let me tell you that is ridiculous. That's not true. Something that changes 80% of the search and something that actually is going to revolutionize how Google is processing search will have an impact on search and on you. Google HummingBird is an update in the process. Google is building up the knowledge graph. HummingBird is learning. HummingBird is adapting to the content, and it is changing the rankings of the keywords accordingly. It's something that's in motion, and the impact will be felt more and more as we move into the future. I'm sure by now many of you are starting to feel the impact of HummingBird, and many of you, if you haven't felt it yet, you will feel it in the coming days. That's why it's very important to know what HummingBird is about, how it can affect your business, and what you can do to get over HummingBird to make content that appeals to Google and HummingBird now. So future-proof your business, watch this little video, and by the end of it, I hope you will have a better appreciation of HummingBird and what it means to you and to everybody else. I want to start this presentation by talking about how HummingBird is the most important Google update yet. Yeah, that's correct. There is nothing more important that has hit Google in all of its history ever since its launch than HummingBird. And we'll see exactly why that is so. For beginners, Google's algorithm has been largely the same for more than a decade. Now, when Google was launched, it worked with a very new and innovative ranking system, which was called the PageRank, and which depended on social collection of data. It assumed that if your page was linked to from other pages and it was linked to from important pages, then it definitely had to be important. So Google's founders, they evolved a PageRank system in which they calculated a scoring for your page or a rank for your page, which was called PageRank. And interestingly, it's called so after the Google founder Larry Page, who reportedly computed this. Right. So according to this algorithm, your rankings depended on how well you were linked to from other websites or other pages on the internet. But now this is a lot different, and PageRank is no longer calling the shots when it comes to rankings. HummingBird has changed this, and HummingBird focuses more on contextual and semantic data for rankings. PageRank is of course a part of the ranking, but it's not the most important part anymore, or maybe it is very important, but it shares its importance with other factors that are a new part of HummingBird algorithm. Right. So coming to the next one. Till now, updates were filters, modifying the ranking by applying special calculations. I'll tell you what this means. All of the updates on Google till now were actually building up on the main PageRank system. They were either enhancing it or modifying it to preserve or to combat with some aspect of the internet that Google had changed, or maybe Google had found something that worked better. But all of it was based on PageRank. The PageRank was the most important factor, and all of the algorithm updates that were made to PageRank, right? So you understand the difference? Updates earlier were to PageRank, but now PageRank is a part of the deal, and HummingBird has other factors, specifically contextual and semantical data that it collects, or that Google collects. Right. The next fact that we want to discuss is HummingBird is not an update, it's a reboot. Google has replaced its search algorithm with a new system. Now, this is very important to understand. Till now, we have heard of Google updates which actually changed the formula just a bit, tweaked something here, tweaked something there. But now this is not the case anymore. With Hummingbird, Google has actually gone and replaced its algorithm totally. It's like, you have a mathematical formula for doing something, and you go and change something, a variable here, a variable there. Entire formula basically remains the same, just the output differs a bit. But now Google has adopted a totally different formula with different variable set, with a different set of calculations. That is Hummingbird. And do you know why Google has been doing this? Now this is what we are going to discuss next. This is a part of the long-term strategy of the geniuses at Google. Now the web has evolved. Google started at a point when web was still popular, but it was pretty much nascent. Most of the content that was being created was text, which was of course indexable by Google. But now the web is not just about text. It's about a lot of different things. It's about audio, it's about videos, it's about images, and people interact a lot these days through these channels. Especially imagine the impact of the social web or the social media network. The social media network is largely out of Google's domain, because Facebook, for example, is mostly out of Google. Even Twitter is mostly out of Google. So even though Google is, of course, driving most of the traffic on the internet, a large part of the internet increasingly is out of Google's reach. So how can Google go and target that part of the internet? How can Google target videos more? How can Google understand what is being done in other parts of the internet which is not being shared with it? That is one question that Google is trying to solve through the existing content that it has. And the more important question that it is trying to solve is the future of the internet, which is more increasingly going mobile. Till now, internet was mostly all about the desktop, but now it's increasingly on the mobile, where the format is much more compact. People can't really be expected to type out search queries one after another till they find the right answer. So Google wants to give you the right answer the first time, so that you will still continue depending on search even when you're on the mobile. You won't move on to other sources like Twitter or Facebook or social networks to find your data. And that's the challenge that Google is trying to meet with Hummingbird. Their focus is to make search so simple and so accurate that it gives you the right results the first time round, and the results are modified according to your own personality, your own choices, your own history, so that the results are tailor-made to you. And that is what Hummingbird engine is all about. It's about taking the web personal. It's about making the search personal to you. So imagine the impact of that. So the fight with Google now, or the fight of the SEO person now, is to be relevant. It's not about PageRank anymore. It's about relevancy. If you read about Hummingbird earlier, I'm sure you've read of it as an update to Google, and maybe there is a thought in your mind that it's like Penguin or Panda updates which have been very impactful and have created a lot of problems for SEO businessmen or people, SEO professionals. But Hummingbird is not like Penguin or Panda. These were actual updates, and they were filters on Google. Panda targeted to fix a problem created by spun articles and low quality content. The basic aim of Panda was to find and identify websites which were just putting in spun articles, or articles that were not well written, and who were just putting in maybe hundreds or thousands of articles on the site targeting specific keywords and getting the search to their websites. Now that is not a good practice according to Google, and they wanted to discourage it, and Panda did that. Penguin was a different kind of an update. The purpose of Penguin was to fight all the websites that had built fake PageRank, or let's say who had built their PageRank by getting low quality links from hundreds and thousands of websites. You might have seen tools that would create your link on blogs, or tools that would just put a comment somewhere and put your link in the comment, or tools that would create fake profiles and put your website link in the profile on the other website. Now these tools were very effective in giving you a boost in PageRank, and they actually got a lot of people ranked. But now all of these measures are temporary, and as it's proven, if you use SEO tactics that Google doesn't like, they won't last for long. And Penguin fixed that. Penguin got all the websites that had ranked themselves using all these fake links on profiles deranked. But there's something technical about these updates that I want to talk about. Both of these updates penalized websites after their ranking was calculated, and the rank was actually pulled down. So the basic PageRank algorithm, or the basic algorithm which calculated the ranking of the website, it was still the same. There was no change to it. Whatever changes Penguin and Panda did, it was after that algorithm was applied and the PageRank was calculated, right? So they were actually filters to the main algorithm. But HummingBird is a very, very different beast. HummingBird changes that algorithm. So it's more of a permanent kind of a thing, and you will see that it is the core of the Google that has been modified now, and everything has been changed in the algorithm itself. That's why the impact of HummingBird will be and is felt more widely than any other update that Google has brought out in recent times. That means that after getting the new ranks from HummingBird, Google is still going to apply Penguin on it, Google is still going to apply Panda on it, and these will work independently of HummingBird. Right, so I hope you've understood this basic distinction between HummingBird, Panda, and Penguin. And now we'll be talking about what actually changed in HummingBird, or what is different in HummingBird. How has Google modified its algorithm to change the way websites are ranked? The first and the most important thing is PageRank is now less important than ever before, or so Google would have you believe. Now, PageRank has been the key ingredient of Google's algorithm ever since it was launched, and that was the secret sauce that Google had created. That was the reason why it was able to give you so strikingly accurate search results. But over these years, the geniuses at Google could not predict that people who were outside Google could actually find out how PageRank worked, what were the weaknesses, and they could exploit them. So what happened was, no matter how well protected they kept the PageRank algorithm, and no matter how they tried to preserve its sanctity, over the time, people who were smart, people who had a good skill of observation, they kept an eye on Google's behavior, and they were actually able to predict how PageRank worked. And Google tried to stop that. Earlier, it tried to stop it by sharing PageRank data less obviously. Later, they decided not to share it at all. But in spite of that, people have been able to understand how PageRank worked, what are its weaknesses, and they have exploited it to rank content that should not be at the top of Google according to Google. So they wanted to solve their problems, and it was obviously related to PageRank. That's why PageRank had to go. It was no longer viable as the most important ingredient of search. And that comes to another interesting development around the time that Google is facing its problems with PageRank. There is a new trend in the market, and which is about making search relevant to each person. And for that, Google developed a context engine around your content. What Google is doing now is actually trying to understand your content. It's trying to understand what your content says, what it's about, and it's trying to do that in real terms. Till now, Google was just a database of text, but no longer. Now Google is trying to understand what you are actually trying to say, and how it relates to everything else in the world, how it relates to everything else that you've mentioned in your content. That is the context engine, or the knowledge graph that Google is developing. Now, the thing is, by that understanding, Google will be able to serve its users more relevant content. That's our next point. Based on what it understands, it will change the way it serves relevant content to the user. The ultimate holy grail of search is serving the user exactly what they want, customizing the results according to their specific needs, customizing the results according to their level of understanding, customizing the results and to their personalities, to give them exactly what they need in the first go. Now, if any search engine achieves that, it's gonna be the ruling search engine forever and ever, and that's what Google is trying to do. What Google has done is create a giant web of information, all related to each other. They call it the knowledge graph, which is based on another technology which they had acquired earlier, which was called Freebase. So knowledge graph actually acquires data from a lot of sources, including Freebase and Wikipedia and all those other places. And it's trying to string that knowledge together. It's trying to relate concepts with each other so that it can have a basic understanding of the world that we are in. So when somebody does a search based on what is being searched, it will be able to deliver related content more accurately, or it will be able to deliver exactly what the user wants. That is the core of Hummingbird. That is going to be the new aim of Google, and that will be the secret sauce of Google moving forwards. I've already discussed most of the topics here in detail in the last slide, so I'm going to zoom through this one and just talk about some of the new stuff that needs more explanation. The question is, what comes after PageRank? And the answer is knowledge graph. That is the most important concept introduced in Hummingbird, which is not exactly a replacement for PageRank, but is a side component, and it's going to be really important in the coming days. Right. So as we discussed, how can a search engine give you the best possible results? It can do it by understanding what you're looking for, and Google's knowledge graph is an attempt to connect concepts and build a machine understanding of the world. Now, it will change the way things are ranked. How? Right. If Google has an understanding of the topic being discussed and how it relates to other topics, it will be able to understand what is more important, what is less important, and it will be able to return the more important results or the more important subtopics or the more important topics on the top. And then PageRank will come in play, where it will try to find out what is the best source for that important topic. Secondly, if it has an understanding of what actually the thing is or what actually the topic is, it will be able to give you more results even if the search is not the keyword that you were looking for. Imagine that you look for a keyword, Google gives you that thing, and it also returns maybe 4 results out of the 10, which is something else that you didn't expect in the search results because they didn't contain the keywords but are very relevant to what you're searching for. That is what Google can achieve through Hummingbird. That will strikingly change the way search is done, and that will strikingly change the way people expect search to behave. That is what will be the next step of evolution in Google, and that's why you need to structure your business around the new evolving phase. That's why you can't depend on keywords alone. That's why you need to change the way you think of content, you think of websites, and you think of search. You have to change your assumptions about search moving forwards. So let's go on to the next slide and understand what exactly that involves. The most important change that everybody in the SEO industry should be aware of is that Google is locking down information. You can't expect Google to continue giving you the information you need to do your SEO work. Over the last many months, Google has locked down many of the resources that were used by SEO professionals to get their websites ranked, to analyze rankings, and to do their SEO better. Google has been locking down a lot of information that it shared publicly earlier. Earlier, you could easily find access to website keywords, to keywords that were good. You could actually see what websites you were competing against for a specific keyword. Now all of that information is not available to you. For instance, no more website trends data from Google, so you can't really see whether your website is growing against any other market, any other website, or is any other website losing its share to you. That data isn't visible anymore. Google keyword tool, which was very popular, which was an extremely useful tool for everybody, is now accessible only through Google AdSense. So Google wants to suggest that if you want to get keyword data, you have to be an AdSense client. And now the latest thing that Google has done, the latest change that Google has made, which will very deeply affect all SEO people, is that Google will not pass search data to websites anymore. What does this mean? If you've been using Google Analytics or any other analytics software, I'm sure you are used to seeing the keywords that brought you the visitors. This told you what keywords were important, what keywords were less important, so that you could focus on the keywords that were more important and get the associated keywords to that, or get the associated topics to that. It was a very important part of your search strategy if you were in the SEO industry. But now Google will not pass this data to your website. Google has put all the search content, or Google has put all the searches in the secure mode. It will encrypt all of this data, and it will not be available to the websites where Google leads to. So this is going to be a big problem hence for website owners who want to understand what people are looking for when they come to their websites. Right. That's why the search engine world is now, or the search engine optimization world is now more information starved than ever. Earlier we used to have at least some information to process and some information to use to structure our optimization attempt, but now most of that information is gone. That's why you will find that specialized tools will play a more important role in the coming future. You will need to use better tools to understand your market, your website, your competitors, and you will need to have better tools to give you the keywords that you should target, or the topics or the niche that you should operate in. And here's some bad news. There might be no recovery from HummingBird like there might have been, or there could be, from Panda and Penguin. If your site was deranked or your rankings slipped after the coming of HummingBird, don't expect to recover just like that, or don't expect to do something specific and recover your old rankings back. That won't happen, and I will tell you exactly why. The earlier updates like Panda and Penguin, they targeted specific practices like keyword stuffing or link building or article spinning, and the result was that if you actually stopped doing these practices, if you removed the bad articles from your website and you proved to Google that you were not doing this any longer, you could actually climb back up in the rankings after the next update was in place. But HummingBird, it changes the basic search algorithm. It changes the search formula itself. So if your site goes down in the rankings, it means that Google does not find it worthy of ranking the same way it did earlier. And there is no quick way to just take one specific step and recover from these. So if you want to get ranked back on Google HummingBird, the step or the process is going to be a bit more elaborate, and you will have to change the way you structure your website or change the way you target search. Recovering from HummingBird is actually all about changing your SEO mindset and adopting a new HummingBird friendly approach. Stop thinking of search as being a factor only of keywords. You have to start thinking in terms of topics and in terms of concepts, and you have to structure your website such that it appeals to Google's new context-friendly or context-seeking engine. You'll have to make sure that Google's engine knows that your article or your website, is actually about the topic and it's an authority on the topic that you're targeting. So the SEO mindset has to be changed from keywords to context and semantics. I've been talking about bad news from the last 10-12 minutes or so. Is it getting you down? But I want you to think differently. Can HummingBird be an opportunity and not a threat? Well, it can be based on what you do next. But first, you need to understand, you need to convince yourself that traditional SEO is more or less dead. Panda, which targeted low quality articles and hundreds of articles based on targeting different keywords, Panda killed that. Penguin, which was all about building links on hundreds of websites, without caring for authority, or even if you are caring for authority. Link building, Penguin targeted that is more or less dead now. And Hummingbird changes the basic formula of search from ranking to links to building context. All of that, when total, it means that search engine optimization is dead as you knew it, and traditional SEO is dead. So move on now, move on to a different phase, move on to a more context oriented approach towards optimization, and things will be better. And there's a positive side of it. The field is now level. Imagine thousands of people who over optimize their websites now not getting the same results as earlier. So the internet is literally filled with corpses of over optimized websites that were ranking higher for keywords. And if you are a new person who's just entered into the game, you can hope to achieve better by targeting keywords intelligently, by targeting keywords in a system that Hummingbird understands. You can rank for keywords that you've never ranked before, and that is the opportunity to rank for keywords that you were not ranking for before, and that includes keywords that you lost ranking for. Maybe not with the same content, but with a different content, with a different approach, you can rank for those keywords again. So get on board now and have the early adopter advantage. Understand how Hummingbird works, what it wants, what you can give it to rank. That is going to be the formula to rank again on Google at a high rank. So see you soon in the second part of this pre-launch series, in which I will tell you exactly what those steps could be, exactly what Hummingbird wants from you, and what you can do to rank with Hummingbird or with the new Google in the coming days. So watch out for my mail tomorrow, and hopefully you will have a better understanding of Hummingbird and the new SEO world. See you soon. I'm Cyril Gupta signing off for now.